If you're the person everyone depends on, there's a good chance you're paying a price you haven't even noticed yet. Here's a strange truth about high achiever burnout. Most people think burnout recovery starts with taking time off. Actually, one of the biggest burnout symptoms is not working too much. It's giving your energy away before you ever get to use it yourself. If you're dealing with emotional exhaustion, career burnout, or you're the person everyone depends on, this conversation's for you. There's a hidden part that no one talks about. Your energy, it has value. You just stop protecting it. If people never have to wonder whether you'll say yes, that's not loyalty. That's unlimited access. And the thing about unlimited access, it comes with a huge bill. I'm going to share the one question that helped me begin my burnout recovery. You know that friend, the one that plans the dinners, books the reservations, the one that checks on everybody. They send reminders, then they go home completely drained. It's funny how the reliable one is almost always the exhausted one. And it's not just in group chat. It usually starts at work. They get that one email. Can you handle this? You're so much better at it than I am. And then it sounds like a compliment. It's really a job description nobody's paying you for. The first time I got that email, I was so proud. Yeah, I was proud. It took me years to realize I was never chosen for anything that I got to say no to. I didn't understand what that was costing me until one night I sat down to finish my college applications after work. I'll come back to that because it changed everything. If this conversation feels different to you, here's a secret. I did that intentionally. I'm Miss T, and this is Who's CTV. I spent years paying the loyalty tax while dealing with career burnout, emotional exhaustion before I even ever had a name to put to it. Today, I create conversations around personal growth, self-development, mindset, and practical strategies that help high achievers rebuild their lives without losing themselves. If that's the kind of conversation you've been looking for, make sure you follow because we're just getting started. I used to wear the reliable one plastered on my chest like a badge of honor. I thought being needed meant I was super valuable. One honest conversation with myself changed all of that. Being useful and being valued are not one and the same. And looking back, I wasn't just tired. I was experiencing burnout at work long before I knew what to even call it. Like so many high achievers, I thought working harder would solve the problem. That's one of the biggest mistakes many high achievers make. We mistake endurance for progress. We think pushing harder is the answer. And sometimes the answer is finally protecting what's left of ourselves. But somewhere along the way, the thing I thought was making me successful became the very thing that was breaking me in two. I've seen this happen to beginners starting their first job. I've seen professionals leading departments. I've seen business owners build successful companies while quietly running themselves straight into the ground. The loyalty tax doesn't care about your title. It only cares that you keep paying for it. I remember sitting at my kitchen table trying to finish college applications after work. I spent the entire day solving problems for everyone else. By the time I finally sat down to work on my future, I couldn't even think anymore. And it wasn't because Shatika wasn't capable. It was because there was nothing left to offer. I'd already spent the best of me on everyone else before I got to me. Here's what unlimited access actually costs. It's not just about being tired. Tired, you can sleep off. This is different. This is emotional exhaustion. If you've ever searched for burnout symptoms, this is one people rarely talk about. You're physically present, but mentally, you're still carrying work everywhere you go, showing up for everyone else's life, while quietly disappearing from your own. Even vacations, look, I'm not even going to hold you. Even vacations stop feeling good. I finally get away, but I couldn't even enjoy them My body was there, but my mind wasn't. I kept thinking about work, emails, deadlines, problems waiting for me. I wasn't resting. I was rehearsing my stress over and over again. And looking back on it, I wasn't burnt out because I worked super hard. I was burnt out because everyone had unlimited access to the best parts of Shatika. So here's what I've learned, and hopefully this helps you. Burnout isn't just exhaustion. It's what exhaustion steals from you. Real burnout recovery isn't about taking one weekend off. It's about changing the habits that created the burnout in the first place. Burnout, it collects quietly. A little today, a little tomorrow, a little next year, until one day you've spent years surviving instead of truly living. It steals your ability to build your business, to finish school, to write the book you want, to be present with your family. It steals your focus. It steals your presence. It steals your confidence. It steals moments that you're never going to get back. And that's the real bill. Why? For many of us, it starts with people pleasing doesn't usually begin because you're a weak individual. It begins because somewhere along the way, you learn your value came with you being useful. And most of us confuse being available with being valuable. We're terrified people will think we've changed. The guilt shows up before we've even answered. So eventually, people pleasing becomes our personality. I'm just a caregiver. I just care more. Those things can be true. They can also be the reason burnout keeps collecting interest. But the good news for you is this pattern can be unlearned. See, mine, it didn't change overnight, but it did change. Real self-improvement isn't always learning to do more. Sometimes it's learning when to stop. That's where setting boundaries changed everything for me. So for me, setting boundaries wasn't about pushing people away. It was one of the most important acts of self-improvement I ever practiced in my life. Before I answered anyone else, I answered to Shatika first. Would I think this was reasonable if someone asked it of me today? That one question became the foundation of my burnout recovery. The first time I used it, someone asked me to cover something at the last minute. Again, I paused. And that pause in that moment felt terrifying. Like I was doing something wrong. It was like forbidden to do that. And I said, I can't do it this time. Then I waited. The fallout, it never came. Within a few weeks, that guilt that I felt here got quieter. So whether you're working through high achiever burnout, career burnout at work, or you're simply committed to personal growth, self-development, mental wellness, and building a healthier mindset, I want you to remember this. Nobody is coming to protect your peace. That became my responsibility. And strangely enough, that's when I finally started feeling free. I'm the gas station. I can fill you up. I could point you toward the right direction in the road, but I can't drive your car. I can't keep giving away my fuel until my own pump runs dry. Burnout recovery doesn't happen in one weekend. It happens with one decision at a time, one boundary, one honest conversation, one moment where you finally decide your peace matters too. If this spoke to you and you feel led, let me know down in the comments. Where in your life are people still getting the version of you that you've already outgrown? I read through all the comments, and so does everyone else. You never know who you may be helping. This is the first conversation in my Burnout Recovery series. Next, we're going to talk about why being the strong one quietly becomes an identity trap. And if you're ready to stop paying the loyalty tax, hit subscribe. We're building a life where success doesn't cost us ourselves. And I'll see you in the next one. And until then, stop paying the loyalty tax.